You are now listening to the Serious Growth Podcast with your host, Leo Costa Jr.
I'm really happy today. Why, Carol? Yeah. It's my last day of being 66. Holy shit. It's incredible. God damn it. But I got to say something. I just talked to somebody today, two people actually. And it's like, do you feel sad at all? Because, you're older and, at one point I must tell you that I would look back and I would go, oh shit. Like when I was in my bodybuilding days, I look at those photos and I look at myself now and I would say, oh God. Whew. And then this is now about the time that, I've sort of pivoted my stance on where my goals are as far as changing the stated goal to getting in the best health of my life versus getting as big as possible with muscle. Those are two very different goals. And so when I made that choice, and this is really all about choices at the end of the day for us out there. And you really have to understand that it is something that is consequential, positively and negatively. And it's hard for us, because at the end of the day, it's you against you. You competing against yourself. And yet sometimes we all are competing against other people. Social media hasn't really made it that much better for us. In fact, there are stats that will that indicate that people are more isolated now and sadder now with social media than before. I think that's really ironic. You would think that maybe they should have called it anti-social media, because people are sadder now because I think in my mind, it's kind of like we're constantly comparing ourselves to somebody else that's on social media. And it's very difficult to live up to that. And the truth of the matter is, I know this from being on social media for as long as I have. What you see is not what you get a lot of times, because people, the filters and all the stuff there is at their tips of their fingers, it's really deceiving as hell, and even logically you can think about that. No, look, I know that probably that person that's on social media is, all these things, but it still impacts your brain. But here's what I've learned. The thing about this is you just don't know what you don't know. Like in my case, I don't know how ultimately I'm going to feel at the age of 66 or 67. You got to go through that to know that, to experience that for yourself. I'm looking back, all the way back into my 20s and in my bodybuilding days, when I was bodybuilding, I looked probably as close as I would have thought what perfection looked like. But I really didn't feel that good because of all the stuff that we had to take in order to look like that. To be honest, I didn't feel that good, but I looked good. And then when I had my health issues, of course, I had at that point, you're at a crossroads, you got to have a heart-to-heart in the mirror with yourself and say, what do you want to do? Because this is the problem for a lot of people, is because we're all going to have that crossroad. It's like, that's a hard talk to have, to figure out what it is that you can do. My thing was now to get in the best health of my life and feel as good as I possibly could. More than that, I don't just want to be average. I wanted to redefine now, and when you're redefining and making that goal, when you're kind of at a low point, 10 years ago, after I had these issues with these strokes, I was at a pretty low point, and to fully commit to saying, I don't just want to come back and be functional. I want to be remarkable. I want to redefine what those ages look like from that point forward. That's a tall tale, because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know the unknown. And to make that commitment, most people won't make that commitment when they're completely healthy. Just look around in terms of how happy people are now, or what kind of shape that they're in. I mean, our society is in the worst shape probably ever, so it's a real difficult thing to have that. It's you against you. Rocky said that in the movie. It's up to you. uh and it starts right there. But I got to tell you, going back to me being 66.
All right, let's take a quick break so I can tell you about our product.
Do you want a bone-crushing grip? Good, because you're gonna get one with the amazing new TRS gripper. It's a progressive grip builder with longer handles and a special ergonomic design that's like a dozen hand grippers in one. Start off easy and work your way up to quickly build your grip strength from wet noodle to pulverizing. The package includes a video from the world-famous strength coach, Dr. Russ Horine, the man who worked with Leo Costa to help bring you big beyond belief in the Bulgarian power burst. Dr. Horine shows you a simple and easy to follow workout plan that takes just minutes a day right from in front of your TV set if you want. So click on the link below and let's get started building you a stronger, firmer, bone-crushing grip.
I can't believe how good I feel. It's even to the point where it's almost scary, which is kind of ironic. This is what I was probably envisioning when I said I want to get in the best health of my life. But I never would have thought that I would have come back around this much. But there is a process. There are things that I've been doing. I've been taking unbelievable care about myself as it relates to diet, for sure, and with training. I mean, I don't go crazy when I do myself. I'm more moderate, and I still have that mindset of somebody who wants to go and give it all. And I still give it my all. But I've done it in a way now where I've making sure that first step was to take care of the inside part of my body and brain, to get that as right as I possibly could. It's like the foundation. We talk about this stuff. We're going to hear this stuff over and over again, because listening to this information one time is definitely not enough. This has to be a recorded message in your brain forever, because we have a tendency as humans to fall off the wagon for whatever reason. I mean, we've all got all kinds of things that go on in our life, and we've always got, if it's not one thing, as my dad said, it's two. And you have to be able to deal with that. So take the first step and repair yourself from the inside out. Get healthy. Make sure that you are doing lab work so you can verify what you're doing. You'll be surprised what kind of peace of mind it's going to give you. We just did we had a couple of guys that we have that are they're in their 40s, and they're on our longevity, if you will, to get in better shape, because in their 40s, they're high stressed. And one guy came in the office yesterday, and he said, "Man, what a wake up call." Because I really felt like he comes into the facility, he works out, and he works out fairly hard. And you would say on the face of it that he is a healthy guy. But he said, they took my blood pressure, and the guy's hypertensive. What does that mean? Well, that's playing with fire. If you don't address that pretty quickly, hypertension is high blood pressure, 150 over 95. You mess around with that number for very long, that's going to bite you in the ass in a very big way. So that was a wake-up call. We all have that wake-up call, and it's hard to have that. It's hard to be proactive when you're feeling a certain way. You don't feel like you've got stuff going on that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, this guy wouldn't have thought that. But when he saw that, it's like, holy shit, I got to make some changes. That's my point. But if you do that, as males, we know that we're losing 1% of our testosterone every year. That's devastating when you're in your 60s. I mean, even in your 50s, it's devastating, because, with the testosterone, I mean, lack of or low testosterone will cause way more problems than. I had a guy come in and said, well, his doctor is saying that, your testosterone it needs to be like average or less than average, so your body doesn't start, adding plaque to the arteries. Well, I mean, what the doctor was telling him there was a half truth. I mean, that could happen if your testosterone is way out of line. But, these doctors don't know that you take an estrogen blocker because extra estrogen excites the body. It causes issues like putting and adding plaque on your arteries because it's a stress. But if you have your progesterone levels, and if you're doing estrogen blocker, Chrysin is one of them, progesterone is another one. When you know stuff like this, then you know that your doctor is basically at that point keeping you down and making you less energetic and making you not feel as good as you should. Listen, the goal should be to act and feel and perform like when you're in your 20s. And I got to tell you something, from all the stuff that I'm telling you, I do what I tell you. I'm that guy that goes out and does lab work every 3 weeks, every 3 months. I'm that guy that lives day to day and by a daily regimen that is lifestyle for me. Okay. I work out every single day. I make sure that I'm eating the right way every single day. And I still have a good time in my life. It doesn't have to be like what some of you might think. It's not a prison if you know what you're doing. That's the role of what I've been doing for the last 40 years as a personal trainer, as well as a life coach now. If you know stuff to the nth degree because you study it like every single day, like me, this is what I do every day. I'm constantly studying and learning to figure out how to give myself an edge in my life. And I'll tell you something right now, this shit and this path that I've been going on works. It works to the point that I just can't believe it. 66 years of age, I'm putting on muscle where I never thought this would be. And I don't want to compete. I don't, but to be able to compete like that, to compete against myself, my kid told me something really interesting the other day. And, the sort of the ongoing joke that's always been, it's like the youth is wasted on the young. And it's just because it's lack of experience. Okay, we know that. But I got to say something. I like hanging around young people, to a degree, because they have their own insight. And it's really interesting what you can pull from that. So my kid tells me at a game the other day, he said, because I told my kid, I said, to my youngest one, I said, I don't want to compete anymore. We got in some conversation like we always do. We always talk about diet and exercise when we're watching he's watching his daughter and I'm watching my granddaughter. And we always talk about that to some degree. And I told him, I said, I don't want to compete anymore, but I want to be competitive. And he said, something, Dad? You are competitive. Anybody that goes into the gym, and he was right about this, anybody that goes into the gym and lifts weight, you are competitive. You're competing against that weight. You're competing against yourself. How awesome is it to be competitive? And let's just put that in another term. How awesome is it to feel like you want to get up every single morning like I do and be excited about life and going to the gym and going into the gym and being productive and feeling like you really accomplished something? How awesome is that for mind and body? It's incredible. And for those of you who are not my age, you don't know what you don't know. Okay, let's talk about now. I just needed to get that off my chest. Damn it. Before I exploded. Thank you for listening, you guys. I really do appreciate it. I want to talk about serious growth. Serious growth is at the heart. Sometimes you wonder what kind of when you're looking at a program, you have to ask yourself, what kind of program is this? Meaning, is it muscle building? Is it for powerlifting? Is it to develop pure strength? There's different reasons that you would follow a training regimen. But what you'd have to do when you're looking at a training regimen is look at the heart of it. Go down and see what it really is. I've talked about this before with Mike Minster and Dorian Yates. On the front of it, and the way they marketed themselves was that it's all low reps. And it was like, okay, the way to put on muscle, because those guys were mass monsters, it was to do all this low rep training and slow repetition. Okay. But when you take a look at the heart of their program, so this is where I'm going with serious growth. Our serious growth program, there's no question about it. That program and any one of those programs that we developed was to put on as much mass as humanly possible. But at the heart of that program was really based on volume of training. But there's something else that is a game changer. It doesn't matter what training program that you're using, as it relates to putting on muscle mass, you have to pay very, very close attention to tempo. What is your tempo in the gym? Because when you push yourself, when your tempo is, what I mean by tempo is, this tempo is a game changer, and I'll tell you why. Tempo forces your body when you're pushing it at a high rate, and I'll get a little more in detail with that. What it does is it sends your body into fight or flight during your training program. You're in flight or flight. You've caused your body to go into fight or flight. And if people don't know what that means, is your body is fighting for its life in a way. Depends on how far you're taking it in order for you to be able to survive and overcome. But that's exactly where you have to be as it relates to putting on muscle mass. And the problem that I see all the time, everywhere around me, is people, the tempo by which they are abiding is way too slow, as an example. And again, I'm telling you, tempo is a game changer because of the fact, the why, again, to reconfirm this, is because it sends your body into fight or flight. It's a whole nother element of intensity and stress that you're putting your body under. And of course, we know that this stress is just, look, training in the gym is a temporary stress. That's the way it's supposed to be. So it's really, you're kind of walking in a real tightrope, because you have to really push that line to get on that edge of that before you go over the edge and crash and burn. But so it's another element when you go to this level what I'm talking about. And this is what tempo does. So just to give you an idea, an example, when I went to the gym this morning, my last day of being 66 years of age, I like keeping myself accountable on a regular basis. And I went in this morning and I thought, I'm gonna just, because I normally, when I've done my programs, I always count my repetitions that I do during the workout. I count sets. I want to just gather information as much as I can to be able to analyze it for myself, to figure out why do you do that? Why do I do that? It's to figure out where you can improve each and every day. You can't do that. I mean, if you're intuitive and instinctive, you can do that. But if you want to really make sure that you're like really, to the nth degree, dotting your I's and crossing those T's, you try to get as much information as you possibly can to go back and look afterwards, after the workout is over, and say, okay, what did I really do in this workout? How can I improve that workout tomorrow? Because you have to have the mindset that you want to improve each and every time you go in. And that's kind of a hard thing to do, especially because of the fact that it takes so damn long to get a result, whether if it's, trying to get stronger or trying to put on muscle mass, it takes a long time for the body to start responding. You have to do so much damn work day to day. So to go in and to have that mindset, even though, there's a part of you sometimes that looks in the mirror and you're going, shit, I'm not moving. It just seems like everything is just like stagnant. And yet, you really do know, if you're a seasoned bodybuilder, that you just got to keep pounding away. It's unbelievable. And then all of a sudden, one day in the mirror, it's like, holy shit, I just saw some result. But if you're that person that wants immediate result for what you're doing in the gym, you're going to suffer from a lot of disappointment as it relates to that. Everything's a process. Everything takes time. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get some immediate results. You will, but at the end of the day, it's going to take a lot of time to get the progress that you're really wanting. That's the reason why I think it's just really important that, you have a heart to heart and understand and be brutally honest with yourself, but on the other side, you have to talk with somebody that really knows their stuff. In this case, a professional of some kind that's been around that really does know. Because if you look, I mean, all you have to do is look at the advertising all around you that says, hey, you want to learn how to do this, this, and this. And if you take a look at what they're actually advertising, it's like doing all this and creating lifelong results. And it happens overnight, and it's so easy that you won't even believe it. Those people are lying to you, and they're lying to you on a daily basis. So look, in some ways, because I don't believe that we should feel sorry for ourselves. But in some ways, if you just believe what you're seeing, I've heard this saying before, and it's so true. If it sounds unbelievable, it probably is. It's unbelievable and untrue. But we get so caught up because this advertising, they basically, they know they're targeting to your weakness, and that you so want to lose that weight. And you so want to get all these results in no time. So they prey on our fears, they play on our insecurities. And that's the reason why most of the time those, I've talked about it before, quick fix programs, these programs that make it sound like it's too easy to get, watch out. But let me tell you, I had a guy who just started now one of my programs at the gym. He's one of our clients, and he's on a muscle building program. And again, I'm a big proponent of, unless you're a strength athlete, again, you're trying to just purely put on strength first, if that's your main goal. If you're that person, I'm not talking to you. But if you're talking about somebody who wants to build endurance or build muscle, it's pretty much the same program that you use. You will be adding more sets and reps to build muscle. But this guy has been around for a while in the gym, and he wanted to go to the next level. And I said, okay, just try this. This is what I'm doing with a lot of my online personal training individuals. And again, the guy's been around for quite a while. He's definitely not a novice, but I've created a program online that is next level stuff. And again, I've just taken my in the trenches for 40 years information, been there, done it myself, failed a lot along the way. And I've created this program. And again, it's focusing on repetitions. But again, it's high volume is what it is, because you can create volume through low repetitions. So don't just think that a program like what I'm talking about is just purely high repetitions. It's not. There's a good amount where you do high repetition training, but there's a lot of ways to achieve volume, a lot of ways to achieve volume. And that's all this really is at the heart. But because I know that tempo is the game changer, this guy went on this next level online program. And I can tell you this, and now I'll tell you how many reps I did today when I went to the gym. I did 395 reps in 47 minutes. That's 8.4 reps per minute. This is valuable, hugely valuable information. And to take it a step further, I can tell you that X amount of reps that were done in the first 25 minutes, because these the training sessions that these people are doing on this program, it keeps them accountable, because we want to see in those 8.4 reps, are you tailing off in the second part of your training session? The first part of your training session, we're giving you 25 minutes to complete that, because I don't want you in the gym any longer. The very longest 50 minutes, preferably 30 to 45 minutes, but 50 minutes is like all the bells go off and the alerts go off. You don't want to do that, because you'll end up overtraining yourself. And so it's about talk about accountability and understanding what you're doing. The bottom line was this guy is probably, 35, maybe 35, 40 years of age. I don't know. He's a younger guy, and he's been around for a while. He went on this program yesterday, and you should have seen how he got his fucking ass handed to him. I'm not saying that to bag on the guy or to be negative, but it goes to show you what happens when the tempo is where it's supposed to be. And even with that being said, The guy did, I think it was 330 reps yesterday. First time he's gone on this type of program. It's another level up. I've said that now 3 times. And it took him 70 minutes to get 330 reps in. 4.7 reps per minute is what he was doing. It shocked the living shit out of him. And that's real normal. You can be, and this guy's not in bad shape at all. He's in good shape. He trains consistently. But this just goes to show you how the impact of tempo and what that does to you. It blows you out of the fucking water. And if you're that person that's really, gonna, if you're gonna focus on like how much weight that you can lift when you're in a muscle building program, this is gonna make you whimper and seem like a little 10-year-old girl. I promise you that. But it doesn't matter. Here's what I can tell you. That's normal, even though you're 30 years younger than me and you've been training. I didn't go in and at my age do 395 reps in a training session because I do this all the time. But it's something that I had to adapt to. When I first started my own program that I was developing to kick my own ass, I felt the exact same way. That's the good news. And that's kind of where I'm getting at, is that I will tell you, this guy, believe it or not, even though it took him 70 minutes instead of like I did 47 minutes, that's almost what, double? I can assure you, if this guy, and he will, if he sticks with that, if he's disciplined enough to push tempo in 2 or 3 weeks, I'll say 3 weeks, I know how the body functions. This guy will be doing 330 reps, comparing apple to apple. He'll be doing that in 30 to 45 minutes. It just goes to show you how your body is very specific, that the way it adapts in the gym. And what I see all the time, and it's irritating to me in gyms, is people take so long in between sets before they do another set. And they don't know, maybe they know, but because it's painful to go and put yourself through this when your tempo is such, but they have no idea how much they are missing out on the kind of results that they could get. They have no idea. So that's that story, Let's switch over, and this has to do with you people out there that have a trainer that's working with you. I got to tell you something right now, because I've written books on fake trainers. It just still irks the living shit out of me. It will till I'm exiting off this earth. It'll always bother me. I just keep trying to find different ways to get it off my chest and try to make a difference. But to the unsuspecting consumer, I'm going to give you a really good tip. If your trainer that you're working with is a friend to you in the gym, run for the fucking hills, because I promise you, you will be disappointed in your results. I'm not saying that the trainer can't be your friend off the court or when they're not training you. I'm not saying that. And I do know, as personal trainers, it's a relationship that you're developing with your clientele. I got that too. But one of my mentors named Bernie, he always told me, because look, as a trainer, if I'm a trainer, my job is to push you ultimately for you to be competitive against yourself, which is what we talked about in the beginning of the show. That's my job as a trainer. And that's tough love in most cases. And even to the point where I know where I've shown tough love to my clients and they don't like it. They get butthurt. Too bad. They know that. They're not shocked by it, and yet they are, because when I call them to the table, when they're training and they're not giving it all, or I'm just being too friendly. I mean, I call them to the table. This is not what you came in for. Give me an hour, give me 30 minutes on the floor. Give me your whole attention. I'm not your friend as your trainer. I'm your trainer. I'm here to get you results. And yet I just see so many trainers, it's just like the fucking environment. It's like, it's like you're fucking around first, and then, oh yeah, a workout breaks out. God damn, does that bother me? It always will. I think myself, it's like my heart is in the right spot because, you're coming to me as a client to get in a certain type of condition. Well, fuck, I take that shit seriously. And I even tell you in the very beginning when you're going to work with me, are you sure that you can deal with that? And then it's up to me as a trainer to make sure that I follow through. I don't let my guard down. It's easy to become friends with your clients. I've had some awesome clients over the years. I get it. But it's kind of like that in a way, kind of like that boss who has employees working underneath them. There's a line right there. There's a certain line that you don't cross with your employees and vice versa. Because at some point, it's like you're going to have to call Johnny or Joe or whoever it is to the table and say, hey, what the fuck's going on here? You're fucking up. And if you are not clear about those lines as a trainer, and those clients know that this is a part of the process, you came to me and you wanted a certain result, this comes along with it. And it's just as much, I think, in a way, the client's fault as it is the trainer's fault. Maybe more on the trainer because they should know better, but they forget that shit. They start forgetting that shit, why that client came in. Beware. I want to end on a note here. And I know in the beginning, I talked about if somebody comes to you and tells you that they can give you all these results in no time, just automatically, your antenna's got to go up and beware. Something's going on. But I got to tell you a story about a client of mine. This client's been a client for a long time. And I won't get too long-winded here if I can help it. This client has been doing the 3 components for a long time. I'm talking 14, 15 years. And I've always said that if you want to get some, when you go extreme, like this client come to me and said, I want to drop, I've got 10 pounds to drop. And I would say this person was correct. But those last 10 pounds and those last 5 pounds are the most difficult. And as a trainer, when I'm dealing with somebody who only has 5 or 10 pounds to drop, it's a fucking war. So I won't blow smoke up your ass and tell you that I'm going to give you, I'll get you 9 pounds off, which I've done with this person. I've gotten 9 pounds off this person in 2 weeks. Now I got to tell you something. In the beginning, I said, anybody that's telling you that, of course, I'm not saying that it's going to be roses. I'm telling you it's going to be war, that I can do this, but this is what you have to do for 14 days. And it's not pretty. It's far from it, but I still am, pulling off 9 pounds in 14 days. I can do this with anyone as long as they don't have a thyroid condition, as long as they follow the program exactly. But look, this is a very temporary thing that we do for a reason. This is the difference between saying I can do this and you're going to have long-term result. No, this is purely done for a specific reason. And it's I call it it's a series. I have a 6-week series, each lasting 2 weeks. The initial, it's a lockdown series, but the first 2 weeks of lockdown is shock and awe. And I hammer right away. And again, this person went on it. They decided that they wanted to go on it. And I told them I would never do this for long term. But when you do something like this, the point of this thing is to shock your body, shock the metabolism, because you talk about, this is an extreme tactic. Bodybuilders know this. True bodybuilders that know information to the nth degree know how to do this. And I mean, it's like ultra low calories. I mean, when you're used to eating X amount of calories and all of a sudden you don't have calories anymore, you feel like you're going to fucking die. How's that for something pretty? And you talk about when you go on something like this, be ready to have the people that are around you. If you have a significant other, they're going to look at you or what the fuck are you doing? I understand that from that person's perspective. And it's not so. And for the first 2 weeks, it's only to shock the metabolism into a new reality. This person told me, they said, before we ever started, they said, I already know that I'm not going to lose more than 3 pounds. And I said, well, to begin with, now you've got the wrong attitude. Think about that. Because I'm telling you that you're going to lose at least 5 pounds. At least. So attitude is important, but they were certain. And I could understand that. To get 3 or 4 pounds off of somebody who's only got 5 or 10 pounds to lose, they fail 99% of the time because they don't know these tactics. And they didn't know the reason that we're doing this. And look, it's not just about weight loss either in the longer scope of things, but in the first 2 weeks, it's about weight loss. Look, I know that when it's not as much about weight loss that it's about, and I told this person, it's not as much about weight loss that it is about how you look. I'd rather you be at your current body weight and look the way you want to look, because they're this person and we all have this idea how and what we want to look like. And that's really the long-term goal here. But the short-term goal, that ship is gone out the window. And I would venture to say that in the 9 pounds that this person lost, not venture, I know in the 9 pounds that this person has dropped in 2 weeks, some of that's muscle. That's okay, because we can put that back on. It's all temporary, and we have a specific reason that we're doing this. And then what happens after these 2 weeks, after the 2 weeks that this person goes on, now in the next 4 weeks, because it's a 6-week complete program, now I've shocked the metabolism. It's responding. They're dropping weight. They're shocked mentally that this is happening. They can't believe it. I understand. But the next 4 weeks is about rebuilding now the metabolism. And it goes back, when I say build the metabolism, now the calories are not going to be so restrictive, because these first 2 weeks it's hard to live on the kind of calories that I had this person on. Female, by the way, male would get, because they're bigger, the results more than likely would be even more than 9 pounds. But female, especially, that's 9 pounds is unfucking believable. And they know that because it's opened their eyes. Now, when somebody sees that, they're like, okay, now I'm all in. Okay, you just showed me something that I haven't been able to do for years. But you got to have the right intention. And the same thing applies when you're training in the gym. Not only is it, I talked about earlier about tempo, but you have to have intention when you're doing a set, or intention when you're doing cardio. You have to have intention. In other words, don't just mail it in. Don't just walk through and not put every single ounce of energy into every single rep that you do, or cardio, or your diet. It has to be nails. Never letting off the pedal. On those next 4 weeks now, the calories are less restricted, because what this person learned was the way that I had them doing this is I had them doing like a long pyramid. Like Monday, they started ultra low with calories. And then when they got to Friday or Saturday, they were eating higher calories. I'm not going to give the caloric content or the calories that we were doing. I'm just telling you that the calories that they were eating on Saturday and Sunday doubled what they were eating on Monday. So that was the first part of that pyramid. Now, the second part was coming down the other side. The second week, they started with higher calories. And here's what they were amazed about. Even though we increased the caloric intake, they were still dropping weight. This is what happens when you shock and awe the metabolism. It takes a while for your metabolism to catch up to what you're doing. Even though this person, I was increasing the caloric intake, they were still dropping weight. It's counterintuitive. Unless you've been in the industry for as long as I have, you don't know that. And if you're not dealing with as it relates to nutrition, if you're that person that's not dealing with the world level bodybuilder that knows their stuff to the nth degree as it relates to a diet, if you're just dealing with an everyday dietitian, you're dead in the water. You're already behind the curve. They don't know shit like this. This is very advanced. They're more run of the mill. They can deal with the average stuff. This is extreme. It's a high level tactic. So they were shocked when they all of a sudden their body is still losing weight. And this is while I'm increasing water and sodium. What about that? Sodium holds water, folks, for those of you that don't know. For that to be happening and still dropping weight, and then we pull them down. When we start pulling down their caloric intake over that next few days. On Thursday, we cut water, we cut sodium. We've already tricked the body. Their body at this point is urinating about every 20 minutes. See, this is what we did, and this is what I did when I was pre-contesting. Who the fuck knows that unless you're a bodybuilder that understands? We are tricking our body to eliminate not only body fat, but fluid. Day 14, they were down real low in their calories again. Mission accomplished. More than mission accomplished. This person only thought that they were going to lose 3 pounds, 9 pounds. Again, going back to those other 4 weeks. Now, the next, week 3 and week 4, are going to increase the calories because the body's already responding to increasing calories and it not putting on any body fat. It won't for a while. And by the, so week 3 and 4 is that process, slowly increasing caloric intake. And then, of course, week 5 and 6, you're eating even higher. So again, as I talked about in the very beginning of this lockdown phase, it's about how you look. I would rather this person will be eating what they were eating before. And when they were 9 pounds heavier, they will be eating the same amount of calories. It was 1,500 a day average. They will be eating at least that, if not more, because we're rebuilding now the metabolism. Her metabolism is being rebuilt to where it's more efficient. See, that's the mark of a great program. But on the face of that, if somebody tells you, again, I'm telling you to watch out when somebody tells you that they're going to get you all kinds of results and it's going to be easy. It's far from easy. And it's something that you only do temporarily, but it works. But at the end of the day, you got to go back to something that's more moderate. And then at that point, it's just about making a few adjustments here and there along the way, staying on top of it, being consistent. It just doesn't happen. And then, the game is over. It's never over. There's no finish line, people. Can you deal with that? But you can make it, if it's done properly, you can make it to where it can be pretty seamless. It actually gets pretty simple. This person even said, my goodness, I didn't realize, with the lack of calories I'm taking in, it's actually made my life very simple in some ways. But the point is to be able to do that, like with me now. I started at 27 years of age. I'm 66. And this has just been a way of life. And listen, I'm not saying that I'm still not putting effort into that. Of course I am. You need to have effort. You need to suffer a bit. That's part of it. But you know what? Otherwise, it's pretty seamless for me. And to be able to do this now at my 66, I'm going to be 67 tomorrow. I can't wait till I'm 70. I'm not afraid of that shit anymore. Because I think if I can do it, now I'm being optimistic. If I can do it at 67, I bet you I can do it at 77. It's me against me. I'm good with that. I'm happier than I've ever been. It doesn't even matter that I've gotten older and my hair's changed. Different color. It doesn't really matter. I'm happy. I'm competing. I'm competitive. I feel good. Does it get much better than that? Maybe. But that's up to you. You take the next step. You want to fix yourself? I've got a real easy solution for you. Take a survey on my website, leocostajr.com. It's a free survey. And then I talked at the very beginning of the show, you got to start fixing yourself from the inside out, your body and your brain. And if you're going to do this, be prepared for some results immediately, because I think that's important, but it's a long haul. If you really can't do that, Just don't even fill out the survey. Don't, because you're just going to disappoint yourself. You're going to keep making false promises. That's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, go get some serious growth.
Thanks for listening to the Serious Growth Podcast. For more episodes like the one you just listened to, subscribe to us on your mobile podcast app and leave us a review. If you'd like to reach out, you can find us online at seriousgrowth.com. Until next time, train smart and train hard.